Okay, this is the book of Obadiah. What verse? Yeah. All right. You know, let me start at 6. This is the book of Obadiah.
If I could say this too, because Esau, he's the one that sold his birthright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sold his birthright, so that's why he's gonna be destroyed.
And who would be dumb enough to sell something so precious for a piece of meat? There was this guy, what the hell is his name? I forgot his name, but he used to work at Walmart with us when I used to work at Walmart. And he bought a car, right? And they had a light on, the check engine light on. But to him, it was a good deal because he got it for cheap. So that made me think, man, this fucker is stupid. So let me get this scripture.
Okay.
This is Obadiah, and there's only one chapter, starting at verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up?
Dang. So that's telling you how is he gonna be uncovered? You know, how's he gonna be looked for? How are you gonna know it's him?
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat the bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And if I could just say this, what is these Edomites' point of view or stand on the border, on the immigrants crossing the border, on the immigrants being separated from their families, the children from their families? They don't give a shit. Keep going.
Yeah.
Verse 8, shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yeah, because these people don't understand anything. These Edomites don't understand. They'll say, oh, can't you forget about that? Can't you forget about slavery? I don't want to pay with mine. I don't want to be a slave to you. Can't you just forget about it?
Yeah. There's still payment to be.
Yep.
So judgment to come.
All right. And this is verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mountain of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Let me get this in Revelation.
So it says Esau's gonna be cut off. You know.
Can you look for, search it up for he that killed with the sword will be killed with the sword, and was slain with the sword? I think it's the 13. Alright, I got it. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Let's speak on that.
Yeah. Like last week we said, there's a nation that put Israel into captivity, and that was Esau. Esau put Jacob into captivity, like we were talking about how Jacob was pulling on Esau's heel. Well, that's Jacob pulling Esau out of empowerment and putting him into captivity, just like his son.
All right. Continuing on. Did I stop in the middle? No. Okay, yeah. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Right, so he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And he killed with the sword already. Now he must be killed with the sword. And that's what Esau's destruction is right there. He's going to be killed with his own blessing.
Well, if I can ask you this, how do we know that Esau, just by this verse right here, he who killed with the sword must be killed with the sword? Because these people all got slaughtered.
Yeah.
All of these people got slaughtered by the devil.
And they're still getting killed, you know.
Still to this day.
Spiritually and physically getting killed.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That's right. And the saints, those are the Israelites, you know. And only they're the ones who got patience.
Yeah, because look at what we're going through right now. We have to go to work 9 to 5, or whenever you work. You're not happy when you're at work. Wherever you're at, you're not happy where you're at. Whatever you're doing, if you're happy doing it, that means that you're happy in this slavery.
Because it's saying the saints are the ones who are going to have patience, because we got patience coming out here, you know. Ain't nobody going to have patience to come out here and do this work.
And what the patience is we're waiting for Yahweh to put the devil in captivity so we can beat his ass.
Patiently waiting.
Patiently waiting. Alright, so you want me to continue or? Well, it's just about peace. But we can come back to that one. Let me go back to Obadiah. Alright, so I'm going to go back to verse 6. But this is Obadiah. There's only one chapter. Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? Research. You got to research.
Right. You got to research on who painted over the Lord, you know? And you're going to come to find out that it was Caesar Borgia whose picture that really is of Jesus Christ. Because it was Alexander Alexander the Sixth, the Pope.
1942. I mean 1492.
1492. He had a son, Caesar Borgia, and Caesar Borgia had relations with Leonardo da Vinci, who was the painter.
And Michelangelo.
Yep.
He was a well-known homosexual.
That's how he started painting his pictures and started coming about like that.
So that lets you know that this devil is a homosexual. This lets you know that the devil is contrary to the law. He's contrary to the law, man.
Why does he allow a homosexuality?
And if I could just say this about that, if you're a homosexual at work, you get promoted. If you're a woman at work and you left your man, you get promoted. If you're a hardworking man and you're taking care of your family and you're reading the Bible and you're studying and you're teaching other brothers, you stay in the same position.
Stay at the bottom.
Then you never get moved up. And that's spiritual because you don't want to be part of this world. There's always somebody saying, "Oh, this guy's out of it. This guy's not even in the circle."
And because we're staying at the bottom because we're taking those punches, you know. And you guys don't want to take those punches. You'd rather dodge those punches, you know.
Yeah. Let me get this. Let me start. Well, let me go back into Obadiah at the verse number 3. No, let me start at 2. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So everywhere you go, everywhere you work, if there's an Edomite there working, he hates you. He fucking hates you.
Just looks at you and then just hates you.
He's like, there goes the neighborhood. And they move away from you. If you were to move into a so-called white neighborhood, they would start looking for different houses right now.
Yeah.
They would move the fuck out.
They wouldn't let a Negro into a white neighborhood, you know, because that would devalue the property.
Yeah. Let me continue on. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, because this Edomite says, "Oh, we're the best of the best." They're gonna get that space program up and running, and they're gonna have a fucking chance. They're gonna get blown out of the sky, blown out of the heavens, like it says in Revelation.
It's the war in heaven.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, going back to the word Caucasians, and the only Caucasians or cavemen are Edomites, and that's when they were put in that low estate, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Because right now, if you think about it, Who do you think could bring Esau down right now?
On the planet Earth? Who could, man? Who could? Right?
Yeah. Because, well, there was that one time Esau was really unstoppable.
In the 1940s, man, and then, well, not really, because, well, yeah, he was unstoppable because the Nazis were fucking unstoppable, and it was because of what they believed, and they went against the grain. That the Edomites were like, you know, we got to get America involved. That's the only one that could stop these Germans. And when they got involved, it took a while, but the Allied forces, you know, through money and manipulation, made it happen.
So all these tribes that you see right here on the side, they're in the low state right now. And every time I see an Edomite, I always see them having good things, you know?
Better than us.
Yeah, they're the ones who are in the rich houses, you know?
And this is really why, the space program is really why he thinks he's a shit. This is Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Now, it's not talking about in spiritual heaven, right? It's talking about physical heaven in the sky.
And what I have right here, we're going to look up that word dragons. Is Arcade Dictionary of Word Origins, the histories of more than 8,000 English language words. And we're going to go look that word dragons, man. It also has the word devil in here. Oh, we should bring that out. Okay, but since we're talking about dragons, you know, I'm gonna let you read it for yourself on the screen. Oh, you can't even see it right.
So say Michael fought the dragon, right?
All right, dragon. English acquired dragon via Old French dragon and land drago from Greek drakon. Originally, the word simplified simply snake.
So simply snake, right?
But it keeps going. But over the centuries, this snake increased in size and many terrifying mythical attributes, such as wings and breathing of fire, making him a dragon, right? Okay. Or a beast. Came to be added to it, several of them laterally from Chinese sources. The Greek form is usually connected with words for look at, glance, flash, gleam, such as Greek drakin and Sanskrit dark, as if its underlying meaning were a creature that looks at you with deadly glance. And that's a fucking white man, man. He'll look at you and be like, I fucking hate you.
Because if Esau, if he had a spiritual image, that's what he would look like, you know?
Hell yeah. Dragon is the second time around for English as far as this word is concerned. It originally came by in the Old English period by Germanic as Drake. Now this is why I wanted to get it. Dragoons. An adaptation of French dragon, were originally mounted infantry, so called because they carried muskets, nicknamed by French dragon fire breather. And when you have a musket, shoot it, boom, there's a big old thing of fire coming out. And this is their blessing. The gun is their blessing. And we're going to get that pretty soon. I just had to bring this out, man, just to edify the situation.
Yeah. That musket, you know, that's Esau's blessing.
So, verse 8, and prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. You ain't gonna win.
Deceived the whole earth, you know? Esau. And he deceived our nationalities, and that's in I think it's second Ezra, right? Second Ezra. And a big thing he did was deceive our nationalities. You know, he changed them. He changed our nationalities because we used to be called Israelites, Canaanites, Moabites, Egyptians, Hamites,
Hebrews,
we used to be called that, but they changed it to Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Asians, like that.
So which one did you want to do? 2 and 7. All right. Let me start it. 5. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 5. And just because I'm asking the brother doesn't mean I don't know where it's at. Because I want to be. He's the conductor right now. This is the melody that we're both singing, and I want to get my part right. Okay? As for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which are the Israelites, which will not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion, and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them. And what that means is basically you won't recognize them. You're not going to recognize them because they're going to get mixed.
Yeah, bring them to confusion, it says.
Confusion of faces, right? Or even to a more clearer extent, have them forget their history and their nationality by introducing different way, like Hellenism. Turn them into Greeks, and that's how they do it, man. They get the women.
And that's the best way the devil's getting you is he's turning you against the Most High, making you worship him.
Yeah, I got this in 7. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant.
It says, let their name be put out of the earth. So you no longer hear Judites, Issacharites, Ephraimites. You no longer hear that because that name got put out of the earth. And who did it get put out by? Somebody had to be in control to be able to
Make it happen.
Make it happen through history, And who has control of history?
Hey, man, that's the devil, man. But and he did it by the gun. And this is Genesis 27:40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that already happened. That's happening.
Yeah. The yoke is getting broken off right now.
So we're coming back into who we are.
Yeah. So slowly it's getting broken.
Alright, so 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my brother are at hand, then will I slay my brother. And he takes us back to Obadiah.
So Esau said that he's going to slay his brother. And Esau, he has that perpetual hatred towards Jacob. That means ongoing, everlasting hatred. And we're never going to, Esau and Jacob, we're never going to have peace.
We're never going to get along. We ain't going to get together and eat a fucking sandwich. I can't even stand going to the bathroom after you at work. I can't even use the same water fountain as you, man. Alright, this is Obadiah. And it's only one chapter long, and this is verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Be cut off forever. So he's going to do away with this nationality, the Caucasians. He's going to wipe them off to where you're not going to remember them no more.
Yeah, we'll get this on 8 because this goes like what you're saying. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 8. Woe be unto the Assur, thou that hidest the unrighteous in me. O thou wicked people, remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. So remember what he did to Sodom and Gomorrah, So
What did he do to Sodom and Gomorrah, man? Fuck that
He
place
blew
up.
that place up, you know. So he told you to remember that. So when you remember it, you're gonna fear what happened there, you know. And something that's gonna happen like that again is you know, what could be a big thing that's gonna blow up, you know. It'd be a nuclear missile.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, I got this thing right here. This is Genesis 19:24. You know what? Let me start at 23. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And how he did that was with chariots, man. With chariots, which are made out of precious metals. They travel in through dimensions to dimension. You call them UFOs, we call them chariots.
We call the chariots of Israel in the Bible.
They're not called the chariots of every fucking body in the fucking world, right?
That's right.
They're not called the chariots of the Gentiles.
Right.
And they sure as well hell ain't called the chariots of Esau.
Why would they call it the chariots of Israel, huh?
Because Israel's gonna get saved in this fashion.
Because only Israel have come.
Man, you know what? Right about this time, I feel real happy about being an Israelite. I feel real good, man. That's why we're out here smiling, man. We don't smile at work. I might crack a little joke here and there. But you know what? I'm fucked up in here.
If we smile at work, it's because we're thinking about now. You know?
Yeah, we're putting on that happy face, man. And I touched right here because this is where there's a center, right? You got your balls and this is the 7 centers of chi. You know, this is where your energy comes from. And I was messing around with my little son, and I do a spinning back kick, and he blocked it like Johnny Cage and hit me right in my balls, man. That shit fucking hurt. But I was like, whoa! But I know how to use my energy, so I dissipated throughout my body, and it didn't hurt. Man, if that would have happened to anybody else, that would have been game over, man. Because
Dang, so that's you know, you gotta know how to use your chi, right?
Yeah, you gotta know how to, and it's called spirit. Let's call it the spirit, okay? You gotta know how to use the spirit, man. Especially when it's given to you, man. How did, man, imagine Samson.
If you can get this, this goes with what his brother's talking about, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Because like if you use your spiritual chi, you wouldn't be ignorant of Esau. You would know who he is. You know, you would use your power, your mind power, and you would know who he is.
2 Corinthians what?
2:11.
This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an abundant advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
That's right. Only the elect are not going to be ignorant of his devices. We're going to know who he is. We're not going to be blind. That's why we started waking up to our nationality.
Because we can't be ignorant, man. We can't be just ignoring shit. Alright, this is a good book, man. I'll get 12. Furthermore, when I came to Troas to preach Hamashiach's gospel, and a door was opened unto me of Hamashiach, I had no rest in my spirit, because I found not Titus my brother. But taking my leave unto them, I went from them into Macedonia. So basically, Paul was messed up because he couldn't find his brother. He didn't know what happened to him. But now we can get in contact with his cell phone, send a text. That's all you got to do is send a text right back. And some of you brothers don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
So-called brothers, man, you better check yourself, man.
Yeah.
If you still consider yourself in the so-called truth.
All right, you gotta be responsive and diligent in this thing when you're doing this work. Let's get no repentance for Esau. Hebrews 12 and 16. Because there's no repentance for Esau. There's no way for him to repent because he wasn't given the law only Israel was given the law.
11 and 12, you say?
12 and 16.
I got it, 12 and 16. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and 16. And I just want to say this real quick. Who is this book to?
This book is for Israel, for the Israelites.
The book of Hebrews. All right? Chapter 2, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, and profane means out of the temple, as Esau, for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Dang.
You gotta be a stupid motherfucker to sell
Yep.
your birthright, because you don't care about your birthright, Esau. You don't have, and that's how you tell if these people are Edomites, man. They are not spiritual, man. They are not spiritual. They'll drive by in their fucking trucks, big ass trucks, hauling a nice ass boat, looking at you like,
Yep.
the fuck are these guys doing? Should I call the cops? Go ahead, call the cops, and they won't do nothing because we're not doing anything wrong.
And in their head, they're saying, well, I would never be out doing that, you know.
Because you don't have any faith. That's why, right? Man, Esau, you are one dumb motherfucker, man.
That's why it says he's the most profane, you know. Because he went against all the laws of the scriptures, you know. All the laws he went against. You know?
Let me get that again, man. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
So he's the biggest profane, and for just a little piece of meat.
Just a little piece of meat, like, and it didn't even fill him up, I bet. All right, let me, go on to 17. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. So that was spiritual, man, because that's why the Lord said, before they were born, I have chosen thee. Because he knew that's the way he made him. So obviously he did know. He was like, man, I'm gonna make this dude to reject my, man. You were made to be rejected, man.
Most High put you in that state, you know. He made you be the devil and made you that job.
And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Esau. Thank you. I'm lying. Well, I'm really grateful that you're the devil, man. And I'm glad that I'm not.
We're glad that you're on the other side, you know.
We're happy that we came into his truth. Let me finish this on. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So you were basically just lying, man. Oh, give me the blessing, give me the blessing.
Yeah, he was actually begging for a blessing, you know.
Imagine you had a father. Let's say we were in a comic book, and Thanos was your dad, right? Thanos was your father, right? Because he had two of those daughters, right? And in the last movie, he had two daughters, one that he fucking hated and one that he loved, man. And he had to sacrifice the one he loved. That's what the Lord is doing for us right now. He's sacrificing us right now. Purifying us, man.
It says we're out here making our bodies a living sacrifice.
Let me get this. This has to come out. This is chapter 12 and verse 11 in the book of Hebrews. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Yeah, so all the punishment we're taking right now, it's not cool, man. It's not cool. It's not. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So right here we got a perfect example of why Esau couldn't have this blessing, man. He couldn't have this blessing because he was not going to be happy with being punished by the Most High. He was not going to be happy being under captivity. He was not going to enjoy. He was not going to. Let's say if he had our position, if he had your job, you know how much you would complain. If he had my job, you know how much we complain? Oh man, I don't deserve this. Put me in office. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in the office, but you still wouldn't like that. So that's how we're getting exercise.
Yeah. Because right now, you know, doing the work, it don't feel good because we're under curses right now. You know, under the Most High. So that's why we're taking these punches.
Doing the devil's work, I should say, or we should say, because doing the Most High's work is rewarding. I sleep good after I look at the whole week. I don't sleep good until I'm here.
So after the work is done, you know?
And then I'm like,
yeah, to a hard day's, you know, go home to a hard day's work.
Now, how many times do you go to work, and after you're done working there, you're like, that was a good day's work.
Yeah. Feel like you just got a workout, you know.
All right. So, let me just get this last one. And it seems like we're just getting punished and punished and punished, man. But this is why. This is chapter 12, verse 5 in the book of Hebrews. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son. Despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him.
So don't despise when you get chastised by the Lord, you know, because you deserve that. You know, because you went off and you got to take your punishment like a man, you know.
You gotta handle it. Want me to get another scripture?
Jeremiah 8:21. And since the devil is deceiving this world, you know, we hate him. You know, and we hate the people who are teaching that who
Lies, basically lies.
Yeah, teaching lies. Who the Most High is.
And if I could say this, if we were to walk into any church, if there was a church right now, they would have a big statue of fucking fake ass, you know, and let's call him Jesus, because that's who he is. Caesar Borgia hanging up, and they'd be like clapping and fucking having a good time. But you're not supposed to have a good time, man. We just read that you get punished for being a good son. You get punished for being a son, right? This is book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai.
Right, woe unto you false prophets, all you ministers in the churches and who are teaching that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, who you guys call Jesus Christ. Because